That mural was important for him to learn the history of the African American people, and that slavery, this is what he said, he learned about slavery from that mural. So it was a learning education experience. That's what Danny Glover said. And he said those people who would destroy this mural are the same people who burn books. This is what Danny Glover said, that destroying that mural is the same as burning books.
When I hear white people, and I'm using that as
black, okay?
when I hear
And I have
people
black
like
children.
myself, and I think as adults that we can use reason, and for that, because that's what we teach our children, you know. And if you're conditioned, if you're conditioned and you're in that high school and you're going there every day and you don't think you're going to be affected by that, art is extremely powerful. We're not trying to censor people.
And educate your children.
You actually don't know what my stand is at all because you haven't asked. I just simply
You
said,
want to remove the murals, don't you?
no, I would like her to take her sign out of
I know you would.
this discussion.
I'm not gonna do that.
Because it's
So give it
triggering.
up.
White
It is
people
not.
have to understand it is so, you are constantly
Don't speak for
triggering.
white people, okay?
I am, because I'm a white
Fine.
person.
I know, but-
because I'm supposed to come here and take responsibility and say to other people, human beings, native people, and
I
black
know,
people.
but we have to see what George Washington did and he had slaves, okay? You want to take Wernicke down because Picasso put war and dying horses and dying people?
I think it's
I mean,
extremely-
really, you're
okay.
destroying art. You're destroying history and art. And you should take each picture.
History can evolve.
You should take each picture and have each child in San Francisco, okay, educate themselves and tell them what we really did, what white people really did, and what George Washington did not cut down no cherry tree, okay? He started the westward expansion against native people, okay?
In Mexico City, you know, students are brought by their teachers to the murals. They're in high schools. You know, in other words, those Diego Rivera murals are of people, indigenous people being slaughtered, being tortured. That's who Victor Arnautoff studied under. You know, they study that. The kids go to schools and they learn about Victor murals.
I go to CCSF. I understand, and I'm an art major and a painter and a local muralist. So trust me.
So why are the
understand.
children in Mexico able to learn from these murals, but apparently here the kids can't learn? The high school students
Well,
can't
we're
learn from
talking
them?
about a Russian communist painter, right? We're not talking about, but he was
Oh
a student
my
of Diego
God.
Rivera.
Oh, he's a-
Welcome. We're glad you're here.
To ensure that our Indian students, as well as all students, are provided an environment to support their culture, values, and needs. This is not about destroying art, as the media and others have trivialized. It is about the pain and trauma experienced by the students affected by the images in those murals. Keep your word.
My name's Tamaka Bailey. I'm an elder of the Oklahoma Choctaw. We're hearing all this controversy. I really believe that those murals are our evidence that genocide happened.
Yes.
And that's why they should stay up. So with that in mind, as an elder, I just want to suggest to you, you did this for other people, why not do it for our people? Have a native counselor there to help, because one of the issues I'm hearing is that it's affecting our native people in the safe space. Why not? We have ceremonies for that. Why not use that? Why not bring in a native spiritual guide to help our people? Because they're going to face this every day of their life after school. Where's their safe space then? We need to train them. We need to teach them. I was accused of being a colonialist. The thing that I'm thinking of is if we start thinking the way that these doctors who are coming in, who are yelling at the top of their lungs at one of the meetings, is saying the way that we calm our kids down, put them on drugs. That's what they did to us on reservations. They gave us medicine laced with alcohol to calm us down. That's colonialism, and that's what I see is happening there. Just as a suggestion, put a native counselor to help those native people who are offended. And I'm sure my relatives would agree with that is needed.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Reddy. I am an English and Social Studies teacher at George Washington High School. A lot of the discourse around the mural has ignored and overlooked our actual students. So I have come to speak in solidarity with my students who deserve and ask for humanizing imagery on the walls of their school in lieu of the racist, dehumanizing, and traumatizing imagery in the mural. Covering this mural will not erase the history of this mural. Rather, the covering will become a part of its history. And this will provide a powerful lesson to our students that their emotional lives are important and sacred. Our students should not have to walk by traumatizing and dehumanizing images of genocide on a daily basis, so please support our students and cover the mural. Thank you.
The mural is harmful. Honor the vote and paint it down.
Sarah Brandt, former student in San Francisco Unified and now a teacher on special assignment in San Francisco Unified. In 1 week alone on our vacation, over 320 educators agreed that we should keep the vote and paint it down.
My name is George Wright, member of the United Public Workers for Action. As a historian and a political scientist, I'm always trying to figure out the meaning of social processes and developments. And there's an incredible amount to learn in the episode that we've been experiencing for the last number of months. A couple points stand out very strongly to me. One, this episode has exposed the opportunism and the ignorance of Democratic Party operatives. And I must say, I'm speaking about the school board. The second thing is that it has exposed the bankruptcy of identity politics, this incredible poison that makes us not understand the reality of our society. We need to have a class analysis. Nevertheless, what this episode has showed me in a very inspiring and optimistic way, how people of all walks of life from all over this country, from around the world, can mobilize in a united front to defend principled defense of First Amendment rights. Thank you.
I'm Carol Denny. It is no compromise for this board to refrain from destroying a priceless New Deal work of art, but continue to promote obscuring it from students or from the public at large. The school board is entitled to cling to its deliberate misinterpretation of Victor Arnautoff's work, but a wiser national public knows how brave it is, even today, to acknowledge the exploitation upon which our nation was and is based. The school board and its supporters are entitled to claim to have or to claim to have a traumatic reaction to the sight of anything they please, including the American flag, but to constantly describe our high school students as incapable of distinguishing between exploitation and the critical observation about exploitation as represented by the artwork, or unable to manage critical thought, or forever in need of protection from provocative ideas, is more obscene to me than anything you could put up on a wall. Please, people here tonight who can run for a seat on the school board, please consider doing so, because this school board has made San Francisco an international laughingstock, and we as a community have work to do.
I'm Dr. Gray Brecken. I'm the founder and project scholar of the Living New Deal at UC Berkeley. I just wanted to say that the inability or unwillingness to learn is a very poor qualification for an educator, which is why I don't consider you to be educators. You are infantilizers. And what I would recommend is that you take an elementary course in visual literacy so that you know what you are looking at and want to destroy. And I would recommend to the audience, to San Franciscans, take Willie Brown's suggestion, recall this school board.
To this. There are so many factors that make it hard for us to graduate. It's honestly a miracle that a lot of us make it to high school. This mural doesn't have to be one of those factors that makes it hard for us to graduate. Students should never, ever have to hear, "I'll meet you by the dead Indian." Thus, I encourage the school board to make a decision that shows Black, Brown, and Indigenous students that they value their humanity and psychological well-being more than anything else.
This board would leave that mural alone. It tells the whole truth about Mr. Washington being complicit in the slave trade, about what he did to the Native Americans with the invasion that is now still alive in this country today. Please, pretty please, help us to have children become critical thinkers and not be indoctrinated by anyone. For Benjamin May said, if you can't think for yourself, someone else will do your thinking for you. And whoever does your thinking for you will be your master and you their slave.
Hello, my name is Bavette Brackett. I'm an SFUSD alumni. I've been through this process a lot, and I'd just like to say the fight today is not about art. It's about the California Education Code, which promises in Chapter 2 educational equity. It promises in Article 5.5 a safe place to learn. In 234, this article shall be known and may be cited as a Safe Place to Learn Act. This mural does not provide a safe space for students. And more than that, I'd just like to say that that in a period of time when 90% of the people in this room are losing their minds over what they deem as racism, bullying, violence, vulgarness, and disrespect coming forth from President Trump's White House, it disturbs me to the deepest depths of my soul that we have adults in this room that show zero empathy for Black, Native American, and Latino students. For over 50 years, the cries and concerns of the most vulnerable students in SFUSD have been ignored and dismissed. Their pain has been trivialized, and now we have adults who have more concern for an inanimate object than they have for actual living children of color. This argument that this mural is about preserving history is an absolute farce. None of the persons here today who want to preserve the mural has ever been before the Board of Education when resolutions have come forth asking to implement ethnic studies multiple times. Not one of their faces have been in that room. And Amos Brown said that he's here to tell the truth. But I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you the truth as well. When we sat on the steps of City Hall on February 23rd, 2016, and watched 29 students, most of them Black, weep uncontrollably about disparaging imagery, discriminatory mistreatment at the hands of their peers, faculty, and administration, how can you sit here today and say it's about the truth?
You, the school board, are fighting for our students to have safe and supportive schools. We can't keep wasting our time and arguing about this. There's so much more to work in decolonizing our school district. We all have to agree this has to permanently end. There are racist 1930s stereotypes of half-naked indigenous peoples in these paintings. If this was a textbook, we'd throw it away. We aren't to keep using 1930s textbooks every day in our class so people can look at them. In our school district, we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, not Columbus Day anymore, because it's an inaccurate depiction of history. And that doesn't mean we don't ever mention Columbus again, but we don't continue on with this holiday in our school district. Today, you need to make a decision to permanently remove these murals. Feel the pain and trauma that is being expressed to you today. Pain is permanent. Take it down.
Who wants to be. We're not perfect, but we are supposed to lead. Instead, we're having a debate that clearly mirrors what's happening in Trump's America. Just recognize that Tucker Carlson and Breitbart and Stormfront, an alt-right website banned on Facebook, are all pushing the same false narratives that mural supporters are pushing, that we need to preserve history, that historically marginalized kids need to toughen up, and that students need to be exposed to shame and trauma in order to prevent a history from repeating itself. The discussion about the Washington murals is relevant in that it is an effort by outside actors to dictate for our children, mine included, what they should see and what stories they should be told by people that aren't from their community. This mural is not historic. It is a relic. It is a remnant from a bygone era. Just because slavery was in effect for hundreds of years doesn't make it worth protecting. If you want your murals, I say come and get them. We don't want them. You don't get to tell us to keep them. So if you want them, you can come and get them. They're outdated, like the outdated textbooks we taught with when they were created in the 1930s. We don't teach reading with Dick and Jane, and we aren't using murals to teach our complex histories.
It is already involved, and I think I know I've had personally conversations about what it would take to actually remove the wall from the school, and I think the cost estimates were around $5 million.
What I'm hearing is that some people feel uncomfortable affirming the need for these murals to be permanently removed. And I want to tell you that I hear you, and I'm in solidarity with you, and this may seem like a frivolous issue, but because of all of this that we see here, we see that this is an example of of the fight that we have ahead of us if we really, really seriously want to remove structural racism and white supremacy from our education system.
As the president of this board, it's my responsibility to bring items on the agenda. This is definitely an issue that has garnered a lot of national attention. It's an issue that has caused a public debate where there's been deep passions on both sides. And in some ways, that's really harmful to see. It's an issue that's, I know, dividing our city when we really need to be coming together in service of our students. So I take responsibility for that. There are people that don't like the resolution I'm putting forward. They deeply advocated to paint it over. And I know that this alternative is harmful to them. There are people that, from the preservation community, alumni, that don't think this goes far enough. And I know this alternative is also not pleasing to them. So, you know, when it came to the vote on the 25th, when it comes to the vote tonight, when it comes to who you're angry at, who you want to, you know, make sure you don't ever vote for again, I'm the person you should be looking at. It was my responsibility to bring this forward. I brought it back. So if you're upset with somebody, you can be upset with me. Now, ultimately, my time on this board, I want to be about addressing the serious issues that I know have a lot of urgency with our young people. 1 in 25 of our students are homeless. We have a chronic absenteeism rate for African American students that is hovering around 40%. There's been 1 or 2 reporters that have talked to me about that. Not everyone that's here tonight. I know that there are advocates on both sides of this issue that have also been engaged in that. And I know that there's pretty much agreement that the murals at the school depict a racist history. I think everyone agrees that that's the case.
It's an accurate history.
It's a history that we have to tell, that it's important that every student in our district know. And there are also truths about the history of this country that are deeply inspiring to me. I started this meeting reading a quote from Toni Morrison, who in my opinion is the greatest American author who ever lived. She inspires me. My great-grandfather came up here with an 8th grade education, bought a home in a red-lined district in the Western Addition, raised 6 children, sent them to public schools here. My grandparents met at schools here. My personal history is deeply tied to this district, and my time on this board will be deeply committed to serving our students, ensuring they have an empowering future. So you continue to be upset, direct it toward me, let this board get back to work. And with that, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Ms. Collins?
No.
Ms. Lamb?
Yes.
Ms. Lopez?
No.
Mr. Maliga?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
No.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
4 ayes.
Thank you to the San Francisco School Board for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Margaret Reyes, and I'm formerly employee number 18505. I'm here to respectfully request that this board begin to take responsibility for the current abuse of power amongst a few in SFUSD. In February of 2019, after I refused to drop a writ of mandate, your hired law firm, Bertrand, Fox, Elliott, and Osmond, willfully and knowingly published my full driver's license number and full birth date on a website that is publicly viewable to date. Also in February of 2019, your in-house attorney, who works directly for this school district, sent out a copy of my personal medical records that he had been specifically ordered by a federal court judge to destroy more than 6 years ago. Attached to the medical records was much commentary about age, religion, racial and ethnic heritage, national birth origin, weight, body type, gender, sexual preference, perceived lifestyle, perceived disability, marital status, pregnancy status, perceived socioeconomics, my complexion, various physicalities, clothing choices, etc. I want to be abundantly clear that your legal counsel sent out choice medical language that is highly politically charged, sexist, and can only be used against women. Again, your legal counsel had been ordered to destroy this medical records more than 6 years ago. In the interest of time, I've only scratched the surface, but I'd like to kind of review some of your PAR data that, to my knowledge, nobody has disputed. The average age for a person in PAR in SFUSD is 53 years old, 11 years older than the average age for an SFUSD teacher. This does not account for the countless people who retire simply because they are faced with going through PAR. The average age for African American women in PAR is 63 years old. At least one ethnic group is completely missing from your data. I'm willing to speak to any of you about it. Again, I ask that you start to address these current abuses of power within your school district.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Chappelle, and I am a proud San Francisco school bus driver. I'm here tonight to open, not only represent SMART 1741, my brothers and sisters who are here, but I'm here to also look at you to see us. There's a discord about who we are. You see first student, but you don't see us. And I would love to open up a dialogue as we continue about what we are, who we are, and this is us. There are a lot of things that are going on. We do know school is opening next week, and we are here to let you know that we're not just bus drivers, but we are caretakers. We are sometimes the first people that some of these students even see. We are the ones that when my nose is bleeding on the way to school, we have to attend. We're the ones that are mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers, and when a parent who is out working hard and can't get to the bus stop on time, we are the babysitters. We're not a number. We are school bus drivers who are caretakers, who love what we do. And I want the school board to start seeing our face, not first student's face, but we are the face of first student. And we are here to take care. We have been here for school busing has been like over 50 years. I have been with First Student, I've been a school bus driver for 36. I have went to school here. I'm a native San Franciscan. My parent was a school teacher at Cobb. I am a proud graduate of George Washington High School. I have been in the city. We have been with the city. And I just want the school board to know that we are here, we have partnered, we are part of the village, and we want to be here for whatever the needs are of our children. We're here.
Thank you, board. Good evening. My name is Jader Castaño. I'm the chairman of Local 1741. And we are here to voice some concern. It could be, it may be false, but we're concerned that the board may have an intention to subcontract out. Teacher, you do not want an unqualified professional school bus driver. The yellow bus is important. There is no stigma associated with it when you think about safety. If you decided to put your child on a Lyft or an Uber, how do you know that that driver is not a felon if he is not federally fingerprinted? You know, if he's lived outside of the state for at any moment. So it's really important that we understand that the yellow school bus is very, very safe. Shane Hoff is gonna talk a lot about its design, its construction. So do not undermine all these state agencies that endeavor to keep children safe in California. The Department of Motor Vehicles, the Highway Patrol, and the California Department of Education, which certifies state certified instructors who teach curriculum that is mandated under the Ed Code. We need to have first aid training, basic first aid training. A lot of our drivers have CPR training. So, and this is ongoing. We also have staff development mandatory training. We are required to receive 10 hours of in-service training by state law. If we don't, we lose our credential. Thank you very much.